I'm a huge fan of his work. I think his lyrics are really quite something special, and there's very few great lyric writers around. So I mean, I enjoyed singing his lyrics, and that inspires me. But also, his I think his approach in the studio was he was very open-minded to people bringing in their own ideas, and the ideas I brought in. I was pretty much asking him to shape them with me. Do you like that? And he was very kind of, try everything. But at the end of the day, I mean, he has chosen what he liked of what I did. I just tried a whole load of different things. So I think, his open-mindedness to just allowing people to try their thing. I liked that about it.
And now Josh Homme is someone else who you've worked with over the years in the most recent Desert Sessions 9 and 10, which are always an incredibly interesting affair, especially for train spotters, to see who's on the new Desert Sessions album. Are they still recorded in the desert like they originally were?
Absolutely, yeah. We all decamped out of LA, went down to the desert and holed up in a tiny room, with a wood-burning stove to keep us warm. So it was actually winter time there. It got really cold at night. We were staying in this little motel down the road, didn't see really anybody else for 2 weeks, and made this record.
What a crazy experience. You feel like you're just getting a bit primal?
The only excursion we'd have was to leave the studio and walk the 1-minute walk up to our friend Hutch's house for dinner once a day. That was it.
So what was it like working with Josh? I imagine he's very liberal with the Desert Sessions. He wants people to come in and do their thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's asking. He pretty much says, leave everything at the door, just bring yourselves, and we'll make it up as we go along.
Did he make you swoon like he does for the rest of us?
Swoon. I mean, Josh is a very charming man, a very charming, charismatic, hilarious person. He's so funny, and so I think all the girls kind of melt into giggling buffoons around him.
But not PJ Harvey, though.
Oh, no.
No, the intimate gig that you did on Sunday night at the Great Northern Hotel in Byron Bay was a big surprise to everybody, and for the about 400 people, I think, that got in, it was a great pleasure. Why the decision to do those intimate shows? Because I know you've got a run of them coming up in America as well. You've just done a huge run of festivals, Glastonbury and Barcelona, Winter in the Grass. Now you sort of turned it around.
Yeah.
What do you want to get out of those for yourself?
It's very good for the spirit, for us, for me and the band, to play tiny shows where people are right there involved in it. It's very important for us, not just us, but the crew as well. It's a very heartwarming, unifying experience that reminds you why you did it in the first place. Because when you've been playing big festivals, big shows, you're miles away from the crowd, you start thinking, what am I doing here? Why was I doing this? A little show like that, you remember absolutely, I remember why I'm doing this. So it's very important for us, and I intersperse a whole tour with little shows like that. And not only that, but Josh, the guitarist, and I break off and do, we'll play in a coffee house and just make it up as we go along, and stuff like that, just to constantly remind ourselves of why we do what we do, really.
Well, in those gigs, as you said, you can see the reaction of the crowd, and I know a lot of people left the Northern on Sunday night pretty emotional, a lot of the ladies especially. Do you see people who are sort of welling up in tears at a PJ Harvey show? Does sometimes that draw you in? Do you find yourself getting a little bit emotional with the power that you're wielding?
I don't know. I can't, no, it doesn't make me want to cry or anything, but I mean, it feels like a great honour if somebody's very moved, because I think that's what music's all about. If I go to see a show, I want to be moved. Sometimes I feel like my life has changed in some way if I see an amazing show, and there's been a couple of times in my life I've really felt that, and I've come away from seeing a concert and felt like I knew now the way forward, or how I wanted to change my life. And I think if I can move people in some special way, then that's the ultimate what you can hope to achieve as being a musician and a singer.
Can you give us one of those examples of a concert that you've been really moved at?
I can remember seeing Bob Dylan about 4 years ago in New York, feeling like that. I just was absolutely blown away. He had a fantastic band with him at the time. He tends to change his band. I don't think he's got such a great band right now, but then for some reason everything was just perfect, and I remember coming away from there feeling kind of healed, and how I knew what I wanted to do with my life. Now I had a question and it felt answered. That was one of those shows. Trying to think what else. I think seeing the Police perform at Lewisham Odeon when was about 11.
Yeah.
Again, huge turning point for me. Seeing Nick Cave perform when I was about 18 or 19. So.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
fantastic. And the big question I think that most Australians really want to know, for the rest of Australia who weren't in Byron Bay, when are you coming back to do full Australia?
Yeah, we're coming back, I think, October, November, to do a proper headline tour of our own shows all over Australia. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we look forward to that. And thank you so much for so much of your time this morning.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go out with the correct track that Polly is on vocals on Mark Lanigan's brand new album, Bubblegum, and this one's called Hit the City on Triple J.